Alright, I just want to let you know, in case you were wondering, no, I did not kill anyone. It was their choice of what they want to do with their precious lives, and I was putting them through the test, through a game. That may be true that you haven't killed them with your own hand, but you attempted to kill Detective Tapp with your knife from your arm like Ezio from Assassin's Creed, and you started the trap with Jeff, almost killing him in the process. You're going to jail for that crime alone. I want a lawyer. Welcome to Cinema Society Saturday, where we review a horror film that fits this week's theme. This theme is Phobias. I was assigned with Mari, who I recommend giving a follow. They're a lovely person, they love horror content, they even do a bunch of horror reviews and shameful reviews of whether or not these horror movies deserve to be shamed on. Mari gave me Saw 2, which is a sequel to the very first one, which is about Detective Matthews going to find his son, and the only way for him to find his son is by talking to John Kramer himself. For those who do not know, I am a huge fan of the Saw franchise. They're a lot of fun, they're stupid, but I love that it's stupid, and I wanted to go the extra mile of its convoluted storyline, and it always does for the most part. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Darren Lynn Bousman as a director outside of his Saw films, at least with this one, it still is not bad. Most of the acting is pretty solid, especially Donnie Wahlberg and Tobin Bell, that whenever they're having conversation together, it's relatively the best part of the film. You get to learn a lot about John Kramer as the Jigsaw Killer of where his philosophy is at in terms of human behavior and psychology. When you really think about his human psychology, it doesn't really make sense at all when you really dive into it, but you're not supposed to make sense of it and be more so fascinated over his philosophy on things that only works for his own mindset. Which is always fun to me because what he went through in terms of his car accident is not even as bad as like what these test subjects are going through. Traps themselves are relatively fun to watch. I like the design of the Venus flytrap and the execution of it, and I do like the other traps as well. The needle pit being my favorite trap out of the whole film. I don't like needles for myself as well, but the way that it does it just really does get under my skin. But Shawnee Smith gives a very convincing performance that's in pain trying to look for this one specific needle that has the key, while also being filled with syringes all over her body. And I do like the misdirections from John Kramer that if you have not seen this movie before, it will definitely shock you. But I will say that the characters in this film are not nearly as memorable as the first film. Some of the acting, when trying to be intimidating, just doesn't really quite sell it for me. Other than that, Saw 2 is a fun time with a fun ending with some fun traps that you just love to see it. I give this film a 7 out of 10. Check out Cinema Society Saturday, where a bunch of horror TikTokers review a film that fits this week's theme as well.